Okay, let's unpack this. We often assume that if we, encounter a ghost, its goal is just to scare us, or maybe worse.
Right, pure malice, or maybe just mindless haunting.
But in some of the oldest Japanese folklore, the goal isn't just about fear or even death. It's about replacement. Mandatory replacement.
A chilling concept.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into one of the most persistent figures embodying this. The legend of the hanged woman of the past. Really frightening stuff.
Absolutely. And it's endured for centuries.
Our mission really is to figure out why. Why is this story so powerful? And the sources show it's not just one single story. It's actually a clever mix, a synthesis of two distinct, terrifying traditions.
That's key. You've got the specific narrative, the story structure itself.
Which became famous in Rakugo storytelling as Yūrei no Tsuji the Ghost's Crossroads, sort of the theatrical framework.
Exactly. But that framework is powered by something much older, much colder, you could say. And you really have to grasp the second part, the ancient folk belief in the Itsuki, the strangling ghost.
The strangling ghost. Okay.
Understanding both is crucial if you want the authentic picture. We need to see her not just as, a tragic figure, but as an agent of this grim cosmic requirement. It's more than just a scary story. It's a cultural artifact.
That duality sounds fascinating. Right, let's start with the story itself, the Yūrei no Tsuji. Like any great Kaidanbanashi traditional ghost story, the atmosphere is built right from the start, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Pure dread.
It kicks off with a traveler. He's on some urgent errand, racing the clock, and he's forced to take this notorious mountain pass, a tour, just as night is falling. Classic setup.
And he stops at the very last outpost of the human world, this rundown tea house. It's literally on the edge, the place between worlds.
And there he meets the old woman, the proprietor. She feels like a gatekeeper almost.
She absolutely is. Guarding that threshold to the wild mountains, she's essential.
So she's like a guardian, but also maybe a warning from the wilderness itself. Is she a specific archetype? We see these figures sometimes, don't we?
Yes, exactly. She fits perfectly into the Yamauba archetype, the old mountain woman. Sometimes helpful, sometimes dangerous, but always tied to the wild, supernatural side of nature.
Okay.
And she gives the traveler the warnings he needs. Whether he chooses to listen, well, that's another matter.
And her warnings are very specific. 3 haunted spots he absolutely must pass to get to Horikoshi Village. She mentions the Mizuko Lake, the water child pond, where you find the spirits of abandoned infants. Grim.
Very grim.
And then there's a haunted bridge, maybe built over human sacrifices, the Hitobashira.
Common folklore motifs setting the stage.
But she saves the most serious warning for last, the final spot. The Ghost's Crossroads, the Yūrei no Tsuji.
And this is where the core tragedy lies. It immediately grounds the supernatural horror in something very real, very social.
Ah, okay. How so?
The old woman explains who the ghost is, a young woman from that very village, Horikoshi, known for being gentle, kind, but she was betrayed completely.
Betrayed by who?
A man from the city. He promised her marriage a total lie. Instead, he took her all the way to Osaka, a big city, and sold her into prostitution.
Wow. That's devastating. Yeah. And during the Edo period, for a woman, that kind of betrayal, that social fall, it would have been absolute ruin, irrecoverable.
Precisely. Utterly broken, full of shame, she somehow escapes. She starts the long, desperate trek home, but when she gets back to the mountain pass, right there on the threshold, she just can't cross it.
She can't face her community.
The shame is too much. She's trapped, isn't she? Between the world that destroyed her and the home she feels she can no longer enter.
So she makes that final awful choice right there at the crossroads.
She uses her own kimono sash, hangs herself from the biggest, most gnarled old pine tree there, and that tree gets a new terrible name.
The Kubigukuri no Matsu, the pine of the hanged.
Chilling. Now back to our traveler. Maybe he's a bit reckless, maybe just tired and wanting to get home. He actually makes it past the first 2 haunted spots, the pond, the bridge, and he starts feeling pretty smug, thinking, these are just stories, tales to scare villagers stuck out in the mountains.
Oh, that sounds like famous last thoughts in a ghost story. That skepticism. It's exactly what the ghost needs, isn't it?
It is. So he arrives at the crossroads, right under this huge skeletal-looking pine, and there, in the shadows, a figure emerges.
A ghost.
A young woman, maybe 16 or so, dressed simply, but she's unnervingly still. Calm.
Oh, not what he expected, probably.
Not at all. He's startled, yeah, but his fear quickly turns into annoyance. He assumes she's just some local kid trying to, mess with travelers, playing a prank.
So he gets angry.
Yeah, he actually scolds her, tells her off for lurking around in such a creepy, infamous spot, and then he says it loudly, "I thought you were the ghost from the story."
Oh, no, that's the mistake.
That is the critical mistake, and it sets up the perfect Oki, the punchline. The ghost doesn't shriek, doesn't attack, she just tilts her head slightly, keeping that completely calm look, and asks him very quietly this confirming question, "So you don't think I'm a ghost then?" And poof, she vanishes.
Wow. The horror isn't in the attack. It's in that sudden cold realization for him.
Yeah.
He was face to face with death, invited it even, and didn't know it until she confirmed his fatal disbelief.
Exactly. The terror is in the implication, the near miss, and understanding what she really wanted.
Which hinges entirely on knowing why she was there, what drives her. That brings us perfectly to part 2. The mechanics behind the haunting. Why does she linger? Why is she sort of subtle about it?
Right. This takes us into that older belief system, the supernatural engine, the Itsuki.
Okay, the Itsuki.
Yeah.
The strangling ghost. What's the mechanism here?
Well, what's really fascinating is the folk-Buddhist idea of the underworld, the Maikai. It's less about, say, heaven and hell as judgment and more about cosmic bookkeeping almost.
Bookkeeping, how so?
Tradition holds that the underworld has a fixed population, like a strict quota. So if one soul is going to be released from its torment or leave for any reason, another soul has to arrive immediately to take its place.
A one in, one out policy for the afterlife. That's grim.
It's a very grim calculus. So the hanged woman isn't just acting out of rage, though the grudge is there. She's cosmologically compelled to find her replacement. She's basically a prisoner of the underworld's accounting system.
Wow. So she has to find someone.
She has to. She's trapped and tormented until she fulfills this mandate. And this is crucial. The manner of death has to match.
Okay. So a drowning ghost needs a drowning victim.
And a strangling ghost, an Itsuki like her, needs someone to die by hanging. Just waiting around for a random suicide isn't really feasible for a tormented spirit.
So the ghost comes back to our world, but not necessarily to physically attack someone.
Not always, no. The Itsuki's method is often more insidious. It returns to implant an overwhelming, irresistible urge, like a psychic command, a spiritual parasite almost. It compels the victim to commit suicide by hanging.
Even if the person has no reason to. Even if they're happy.
That's the terrifying part. It can latch on to anyone. The ghost isn't seeking revenge on a specific person linked to her past trauma. She's just trying to meet her quota, find a way out of her own suffering. It's horribly impersonal.
That impersonality.
Yeah.
There's that incredible story, that anecdote from the Kujimachi district in old Edo, right? That really drives this home.
Oh yes, the Kujimachi legend. It's perfect. You have this wealthy man throwing a party, a banquet. His friend bursts in late, looking absolutely dreadful, pale, panicked.
What does he say?
He announces, "I can't stay. I promised to hang myself from Kichigai Gate." Just blurts it out.
Whoa. And the others.
They think he suddenly lost his mind. They physically tackle him, restrain him, try to calm him down.
But then what happens?
Later that night, a messenger rushes in. News has come. Some unknown man, a complete stranger to everyone there, was just found hanged at that exact spot, Kichigai Gate.
So the friend was possessed, but the ghost.
The Itsuki, yeah. It was impatient. It couldn't get the friend easily because he was restrained, so it just found someone else. A more convenient victim nearby who succumbed to the urge. It highlights that ruthless, transactional nature. The ghost just needed a hanging, not necessarily that specific person.
That is deeply unsettling. It connects back to the setting too, doesn't it? The mountain pass, the Tsuji. Why is that the perfect place for this kind of terrible spiritual transaction? The geography feels important.
Oh, absolutely essential. The pass, the tushe, is the classic liminal space in Japanese culture. It physically separates the sato, the village, the cultivated land, the world of human order from the yama, the wild, untamed, mystical mountains.
The borderland?
Exactly. Crossing the pass means stepping out of human rules and into the spirit world's domain, basically. It's inherently dangerous. That's why you traditionally find guardian deities there, like Dusojin, placed to protect travelers.
And the hanged woman is trapped there.
Spiritually bound to that boundary she couldn't cross in life, and now she weaponizes that liminality. It's her hunting ground.
I'm thinking about the time period. This story really hit its stride in the Edo period, right? A time of relative peace under the Tokugawa shogunate.
Yes, a long period of peace. Fewer wars meant more security, more leisure time for people, even commoners. And this created the perfect environment for ghost stories, Kaidan, to flourish as popular entertainment.
The golden age of the ghost story.
Absolutely. And this is when you get things like the famous parlor game, Harikumonogatari Kaidankai.
The gathering of 100 ghost stories.
That's the one. People would gather, light 100 candles, tell a ghost story, and extinguish one candle, story after story, until the room plunged into complete darkness after the 100th tale.
Spooky party game.
It was more than just a game, though. It was often performed with the genuine belief or hope that telling all those stories would actually summon a real spirit. Shows you how deeply ingrained these beliefs were.
But the Hanged Woman, she's more than just a spooky story for a game. She's a definition of an onryō, right? A vengeful spirit driven by on, that powerful grudge.
Precisely. And if you look at the social reality of Edo Japan, it was deeply patriarchal. Women, especially non-samurai women, had almost zero legal power if they were betrayed, financially ruined, sold like property.
Like the woman in the story.
Exactly. So the onryō figure in stories like this served a really important function for the audience. It was a kind of catharsis. You see this powerless victim achieve terrifying, absolute power after death.
Supernatural justice.
In a way, yes. Her ghost becomes this explosion of silenced rage against the system that destroyed her. She finally gets to exert power where she had none in life.
Let's look deeper at the symbols in the story, too. That pine tree, the matsu, it's not just any tree.
No, not at all. In traditional Japanese culture, art, literature, the pine tree is incredibly auspicious. It's good fortune. Life.
A very positive symbol.
Hugely positive. So the Kubakukuri no Matsu, the pine of the hanged, completely flips that. It takes this icon of enduring life and twists it into a permanent monument to death, despair, and an eternal grudge.
Its resilience becomes the symbol of the grudge itself.
Perfectly put. The natural symbol of life is violently inverted by human tragedy and supernatural vengeance.
And the crossroads, the Tsuji, that feels significant too.
Oh, definitely. Crossroads are universal symbols, aren't they? Places of decision, fate, transition, where paths meet, futures change. And crucially, in folklore worldwide, they're often seen as places where the veil between our world and the spirit world is thin.
A weak spot.
A natural intersection point. So it's the fated spot where the traveler's ordinary journey crashes into the ghost's extraordinary curse. A true gateway.
It's amazing how this figure, this hanged woman, this onryō archetype, her shadow stretches right into modern times. She's basically in the DNA of J-horror, isn't she?
Absolutely. She embodies those core traits. The victimized woman, violent wrongful death, returning with that iconic long, messy black hair, often in the white burial kimono, the shiroshusoku.
That look is instantly recognizable.
And it's a deliberate signifier. You see that, you're dealing with a spirit driven by that relentless grudge that clings to places, people, even objects.
You can trace the lineage so clearly, like Sadako Yamamura from The Ring.
Perfect example. A modern onryō for the media age. Wronged girl thrown in another liminal space, by the way, and her grudge attaches to the videotape. It spreads like a virus.
Or Kayako Saiki from Ju-on. The grudge.
The clue's in the name, right? Ju-on, the grudge. Her rage is literally fused to the house where she died. It's indiscriminate, killing anyone who enters. These are direct descendants of the hanged woman of the past archetype.
Even video games pick it up. Like in Phasmophobia, you have ghost types called onryō and Yūrei, drawing straight from these folkloric classifications.
And sometimes it evolves in fascinating ways. Look at a game like Ghost of Yōtei. The protagonist actually takes on the persona of the onryō to get revenge. The figure shifts from pure antagonist to maybe an
Amazing cool twist. So wrapping this up, the power of the hanged woman story.
It really lies in that chilling blend, doesn't it? You have the specific, relatable human tragedy, the betrayed woman woven together with this cold, almost bureaucratic, cosmic mechanism, the Itsuki needing a replacement.
The personal horror meets the impersonal terror.
Exactly. It's a perfect storm of the grudge, the Buthnon, driving the inescapable chain of suffering, what Buddhism calls inga, karmic cause and effect. One tragedy necessitates another.
It's deeply unsettling.
And if we take that final step back, look at it through a scholarly lens, the hanged woman's suicide itself tells us something important about historical beliefs around death.
Oh, so?
Her death was private, desperate, violent. In folk belief, that kind of lonely, unnatural death was seen as spiritually polluting. It created kigeri, a dangerous spiritual impurity that could harm the living.
Polluting, okay.
Now, contrast that sharply with the suicide of the elite samurai class, seppuku, ritual disembowelment.
Which was seen very differently.
Completely differently. Seppuku was highly ritualized, often public, performed to preserve honor, family name. It was contained, understood, even celebrated within their warrior code.
So the same act, suicide, has wildly different spiritual consequences depending on your social class.
Precisely. And that leads to our final thought for you, the listener, to ponder. What does this stark contrast between the honorable death of the elite and the polluting, dangerous death of the common folk, like the hanged woman reveal about the deep class divisions and the maybe fractured belief systems surrounding honor, pollution, and the afterlife in historical Japan? Something to think about next time you find yourself hesitating at a metaphorical crossroads.